A summer of discovery. Friday marked the last day of college, a day that felt like the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. The hallways buzzed with laughter and the restless energy of students ready to escape into summer's promise. I walked among them with quiet satisfaction, feeling anticipation hum softly in my chest. Returning home that afternoon, I found an envelope waiting on the dining table. Cream-coloured with my name scrolled across it, in elegant, looping handwriting I'd always recognised. Aunt Joan's. Holding it, nostalgia washed over me as I remembered summers spent in her welcoming home, filled with the smell of her cooking and the quiet hum of her sewing machine. I opened the letter carefully. Her words invited me to stay with her during summer break, carrying warmth and genuine desire to reconnect after years apart. My mother glanced over my shoulder, smiling knowingly, and urged me to accept. Her home has a way of making life feel lighter, she said. The journey begins. The next morning dawned clear and bright. I packed my bag with comfortable, familiar clothes, tinged with the small thrill of adventure. On the bus, I watched the world pass in quiet snapshots. Open fields, small towns, distant figures moving through sunlight. Arriving at Aunt Joan's small town, the air carried the smell of grass and warm earth. Her house appeared familiar, yet slightly changed, as if it had grown with time while remaining the same safe haven I remembered. She opened the door before I could knock, her eyes lighting up as she pulled me into a warm embrace. "Look how much you've grown, how handsome you've become." Her joy was effortless, immediately settling the strange mixture of excitement and nervousness in my chest. After settling in, we went to a nearby restaurant where Aunt Joan insisted I order whatever I liked. Her cheerful commentary filled the air with town news, family stories, and little adventures from the past year. An unexpected moment. Walking back as golden evening settled around us, I noticed a display in a boutique window. A soft pink sunray pleated skirt caught the light, delicate and shimmering with subtle brilliance. The words escaped me unbidden, a whisper of thought that felt strange and sudden. If I were a girl, I would buy something like that. Aunt Joan looked at me with a knowing smile, her eyes twinkling. "One doesn't have to be a girl to wear something beautiful," she said gently. "If you wish, I would happily buy it for you." I flushed and tried to decline, but she laughed softly, linking her arm with mine as we continued home. The image of that skirt glowed in my mind, refusing to fade. The fitting, back at her house, we shared tea and pastries, talking about college, family, and small observations about life. When the phone rang, Aunt Joan returned with a thoughtful frown. A girl named Susan, scheduled for a dress fitting, had fallen ill. "I might need help completing the adjustments," she explained. "Your height is similar to Susan's. If you don't mind trying on the dress briefly, I could manage the fitting without delay." It felt like a small responsibility, one I could handle. The trust in her eyes made it easy to say yes, even as curiosity stirred within me. The next day, she brought out the dress, a carefully stitched summer piece with delicate floral patterns dancing across light fabric. She guided me to the guest room to change privately, reassuring me I could take my time. Alone with the dress, I marvelled at its texture, its weight, its colours. When I stepped into it, the fabric settled naturally, draping comfortably, moving with unexpected softness. A new perspective. Stepping into the main room, Aunt Joan's eyes lit up with quiet approval. She moved around me thoughtfully, checking the hem, adjusting a pin, commenting on how well the fabric fell. She asked me to walk a few steps to see how the dress moved. As I did, the light sway of the fabric combined with her gentle guidance to form a feeling that was new, soft, and surprisingly comforting. It wasn't about appearance or expectation. It was about discovery, inhabiting something entirely new, yet unexpectedly natural. Aunt Joan asked me to remain in the dress while she worked, explaining details about patterns, fabrics, and the subtle ways colours and shapes could express personality. I listened, fascinated, drawn in by her knowledge and the gentle, non-judgmental space she created. Occasionally she referred to me lightly as Jane, not demanding it, merely offering the name as a soft possibility. The name lingered comfortably, and I found myself allowing it to settle as something both tentative and right. Days of exploration. Over the following days, each afternoon became a soft unfolding of discovery. We visited boutiques to observe fabrics and styles, discussing how light could affect perception, learning the careful attention needed in crafting a garment, and gently exploring the nuances of self-expression that Aunt Joan treated with reverence and joy, with each fitting, each measured adjustment, each consideration of colour and texture. I felt an expanding sense of self, not tied to expectation, but free to be explored, nurtured, and understood. It was a space where James could quietly meet Jane, where the lines blurred gently, fluidly, without conflict, yet with deep recognition. "There's no one way to be," Aunt Joan said one afternoon, her voice carrying weightless conviction. "The world may try to fit you into boxes, but what matters is how you choose to inhabit yourself, how you move through life knowing the pieces that feel authentic and true." Her words resonated deeper than fashion or aesthetics. They spoke of freedom, acceptance, and the quiet empowerment that came from knowing and claiming one's own expression. The art of self-discovery. I began to notice how small choices, how one wore a hem, the tilt of a collar, the blend of colours, could communicate personality and intention in ways words often couldn't. Each garment became a tool for exploration, a mirror for self-reflection. There were mornings when sunlight fell in long golden shafts across the wooden floors, and I would linger by the window, dressed in garments that felt both adventurous and comforting, marvelling at the soft textures and harmony of colours as they moved with me. Aunt Joan spoke of how observation, attention, and intention could transform even the simplest outfit into a reflection of character and mood. I found myself listening with rapt attention, learning that self-expression was as much an art as it was a discovery. The days unfolded in a rhythm of quiet observation, gentle instruction, and personal reflection, each moment layered upon the last, building understanding, self-awareness, and quiet exhilaration that had been foreign to me just weeks earlier. Integration and understanding. As the weeks progressed, the distinction between the boy I had been and the persona I was exploring blurred in a way that was neither disorienting nor forced, but gentle, intuitive, and deeply engaging. I moved through the days with heightened awareness, noticing gestures, posture, and movement with new sensitivity. Through these experiences, I realised that self-expression wasn't merely about clothing or appearances. It was about learning to inhabit oneself fully, authentically and joyfully, embracing both known and previously hidden aspects of identity. With courage and curiosity, Aunt Joan's guidance never imposed, never demanded. Instead, it created a safe and encouraging space where I could experiment, reflect, and understand. Each moment offered an opportunity to consider, adjust, and grow. The gift of summer. By summer's end, as the sun dipped low and the air cooled into soft evenings, I felt a profound sense of integration. The experiences of the past weeks had changed me, not in ways visible to others alone, but in ways deeply felt, internalized, and meaningful. The garments, the guidance, the exploration, they had all served as catalysts for self-discovery, offering a path to understanding, embracing, and expressing parts of myself that had long been dormant. I had learned to appreciate the nuances of appearance, the subtle power of self-expression, and the joy of inhabiting my identity fully without constraint or apology. Sitting on the porch one late afternoon, reflecting on the weeks past, I felt gratitude, and quiet pride. I recognised that the journey of exploration, acceptance and expression was ongoing, a lifelong process of discovery that extended far beyond any single summer. Aunt Joan's presence had been both guide and companion, offering knowledge, encouragement and the gentle wisdom that true empowerment comes not from outside validation, but from within. In that understanding, I found lasting serenity, a sense of wholeness, and the reassuring knowledge that whatever paths lay ahead, I carried within me the freedom, confidence, and courage to navigate them fully, authentically, and joyfully, embracing all facets of myself with curiosity, kindness, and unreserved openness.